Good evening everyone! For today's episode, wala po tayong artista na lilipat sa kabilang network. Wala rin nag-cheat o nabuntis. But, this certain writer of a well-known TV show named Alan Abellana is now being accused of having a writing style. But for now, let our two guests explain more about his style. Without further ado, let us call on Mrs. Emerald Anderson and Ralph Lawrence Soberano.
Oh, hello there, Tito Boy.
Nice to meet you, Emerald. Now, could you please give us a glimpse about his style?
Tito Boy, I would like to define style. Style is of Latin origin derived from the word stylus, which meant a short, sharp stick used by the Romans for writing on the wax tablets. If I could compare the stylus to us, it's like a pen. Okay, I can give you a glimpse about what is style. What is style? The style's correspondence between thoughts and language expressions. It means the style have connection to our thoughts and language expressions, an individual manner of making use of language. The set of rules how to write a composition. The static function of language, expressive means in language, synonymous ways of rendering one an idea and the same idea. Emotional coloring in language, a system of special devices and called stylistic devices. The splitting of the literal language into separate system called styles. The individual manner of an author in making use of language. And that is style, Tito Boy.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that, Emerald. I will get back to you later. But for now, let us move on. Move on not from this issue, but to move on to the next part.
Tito Boy, why I'm here? Wala akong putok. Amuyin mo man.
No, not like that. But we want you to give the definition of styles according to some personalities.
Oh, that's what you want, Tito. Napaka-malisyoso talaga nito. Even though we have a issue together, fine, I will spill it. Based to Derbyshire, style is depth. But what do we mean by depth? It just simply means the deepness of a certain thing. Thus, if we try to understand the meaning of Derbyshire, he tries to signify how style contains deep insight of knowledge. Hence, we need to dig into it so we can understand its meaning, because the writer didn't write anything just for nothing, where the interpretation of Middleton Murray comes in. According to him, style is the result of an author's success in compelling language to conform his mode of experience. In his statement, he is just trying to say how the writer or author deliver what he wants to express by the motive of what is his situation, experience, or even emotion. For example, Tito Boy is broken-hearted, thus he writes a solitude poem and he successfully delivers it through what he feels. That's what Middleton tried to convey. Next, in other interpretation, according to Bloomfield, style is a selection of non-distinctive feature of language where phonetics already came in. If you can't get what is the non-distinctive, it was just those that are predictable for any sound. Since if the writer used a distinctive feature of language, maybe it can cause confusion to the reader. For example, the P and B in pin and bin, they are almost the same, right? Because it is distinctive. But for the non-distinctive, it should be like this: the pin and spin, the P in pin and a spin which is allophone. You see how they differed? And I think style is considered as a selection of non-distinctive, for how can an author write if his work is full of distinctive words, right? Anyways, let's move to the interpretation of Benedetto Croce, that he said that style is simply synonymous with form or expression. The definition of Benedetto is somewhat similar to Murray, but when it comes to Benedetto, he claims that style is aligned to form where each different author have in a unique way. Did you ever observe each of us write in a different way? Because we have our own pattern and it depends what's the outcome of it based on our feelings we want to convey. that aligns to the interpretation of Archibald Hill, which he said that style has structure, sequence, and patterns which extend beyond boundaries of individual sentences define style. And indeed, it was true. Each author write in a peculiar way where no one can describe it fully how it was written, and you will just simply read a certain work for its aesthetic feature of uniqueness. Well, overall, if we will summarize the meaning of style according to 5 different persons, they really signifying for these things that each style of a person has a uniqueness. Well, unless you copy someone's work, Tito Boy. Where did we stop? Oh, okay. Style is a unique and looks like an art because it is form of self-expression.
You know what? I'm really glad that we exchanged this kind of ideas. Today, I'm gonna be reading your secrets. This message came from username style_as choice. Choice is a very vital statement, sabi niya. This is a very vital instrument of stylistics since it deals with variations and options that are available to a author. Since language provides users with more than one choice in a given situation, there are different choices that are available to a given literary or to a given text. Choice of the author is a reflection of his ego or the social condition of his environment. Let's take an example of how choice can be viewed as style. Each choice of your words for your literary piece are considered as style. Pag nagsusulat tayo ng mga essay natin, ng poem, o kung ano pa man yan, we can consider that as style. When we use words like delicious, but you decided to change it to its synonyms like appetizing, tasty, or mouth-watering, those words, each of those words or its synonyms can be considered as style. Under style of choice is the paradigmatic, the first one. It is a vertical choice axis that gives the variety of choices between one item and the other item. The second one is the syntagmatic. It is a horizontal axis that linguistic unit made up of set of phonemes, words of phrases that are arranged sequentially. Another one is stylist man. There are always distinctive features that distinguish one person to another. Thus, in literary style, one is able to differentiate between the writers. So, for instance, I'm the writer and I have these distinctive characteristics or unique features that separate me from others. So, some distinguishing factors that can be seen on every writers, on each authors are the first, the use of language, the second is the social and political background, religious inclination, culture, education, or lastly, the geographical location. Welcome back to our show, and to you, Mrs. Anderson. I thought you were going to discuss the style number 3 and 4.
Yes, Tito Boy, I'm going to share the style approach number 3, which is the style division. Style as division. What is stylist division? What is deviant? Deviant does not conform to the standard said to be stylistically significant. When an idea is presented the way that is different from the expected way, it means you present your idea in a different way, like in a creative or inventive way that they didn't expect your idea so that you can get an attention to the readers. When the rules, conventions, and regulations are not complied with, there is a deviation. It means they didn't follow the rules, conventions, and regulation. That is why there is deviation in that situation. It is departure from the what is taken as the common practice, which means they do something indifferent from the usual work. As Bukorovsky relates, style foregrounding. Violation of the norm of the standard is what makes possible the poetic utilization of language. What is foregrounding? Foregrounding literally means to bring to the front, but in stylistic, the notions in foregrounding are term borrowed from the Prague School of linguistics is used to refer to artistically motivated deviation. Is a linguistic strategy that refers to the actions of shifting attentions away from a main actions or thoughts in commonly used in poetry as means to deviate the normal speech patterns. There are two types of foregrounding: parallelism and deviation. What is parallelism? Can be described as an unexpected, regularly seen. It means you can describe the unexpected, but you can regularly see that situation. Deviation. What is deviation in foregrounding? Deviation can be seen as unexpected irregularity. Something can only be unexpectedly regular or irregular within a particular context. Okay, style as deviation. To make his language creative or inventive, a language different from the conventional and everyday language. Using an unconventional or unusual language, give his reader unexpected surprise and make a strong impression on their mind. This kind of creative use of language is technically called linguistics. Deviation creates a language deviated from the norms of literary conventions. In short, style deviation is a language different from conventional and everyday language and does not conform to the standard way of style or norm. Also, it is an unusual language, which means they make something creative or inventive language. Okay, let's proceed in graphological level. What is graphological letter? The use of capital letters where they are not supposed to be. In this respect, stylistic is interested in how the writer uses the graphic resources of his language to give expression to his ideas and achieve his effects. It describes patterns of writing that distinguish the writer's style, for example, capitalization, punctuation, spacing, and so on. Capitalization, punctuation marks, and spacing, and etc. They are important when it comes in writing. Why? Because that is the sign to identify their emotions. For example, when you write in all capital letters, it sounds you're shouting. Using capital letters to indicate strong feelings. Okay, in syntactic level naman, subject and verb may not agree in number. According to Tallerman, 1998, syntax means sentence construction. It deals with how words group together to make phrases and sentences. Syntax is related of the formation words of formations or phrase clause and sentence, which means it is the author's styles or how the writer arrange and choose words for his work and its meaning in the text. Language deviation refers to an intentional selection or choice of language used outside of the range of normal language.
Oh, I see. Yun pala yun. How about the style as conformity? Can you explain it to us?
Wait, Tito Boy, dahan-dahan lang, pero baka gusto mong bumili ng mga products ko. Alam mo na, for the ipon, for the sideline, di ba? Bigay ko na sa'yo 2 gifts, Tito Boy. Itong mga product ko, papakita ko sa'yo mga products ko. Bili ka na nito, toner, and Isama mo pa to. Cersei, 4 legs. Siyempre, ang everyday use natin ang Sanskrit. Bibigay ko na sa'yo 2 gifts, Tito Boy. Alam mo, bumili na yung mga kaibigan ko.
Mga kaibigan?
Yes, Tito Boy, don't you remember Kim Chukchak, Maha Salvaje, Bea Alonte, or Julia Barreta? O, di ba nakaka-intriga yung kanilang mga pangalan? Anyway, Tito Boy, going back to our topic, let's proceed to the style approach number 4, which is the style as conformity. Style as conformity. A writer needs first of all to decide whether to conform to established style or deviate. Style as conformity is often strictly enforced in certain fields or circumstances, which means they must always obey completely in certain fields or circumstances, and it's very detailed. That's how style as conformity is. Establishing formal diction for a text earn acceptability. One major weakness of conformity. Diba may weakness din siya? Meron din ako siya. Charot! One major of weakness of conformity to the established style is that it clips creativity. But the moment a text accommodates or injects some creativity in style, it became marked as a deviation from the norm. It means kapag meron nakitang deviation sa clips na creativity na yun, dahil prone ang stylus conformity sa clips creativity dahil nga sa deviation. Pag may nakita silang ganon na problem, hindi na siya sumasang-ayon sa pamantayan or sa standard ng conformity. Style as conformity can be seen as the first available option for a writer to express himself. O, diba? Sana all. Una. This is so because virtually all possible fields that a written materials can belong to have been established. Any style that is distinct so as a result of division. Also, style as conformity is a conform and standard language, and it is very strict when it comes to establishing formal or diction for text to earn acceptability. Kailangan maging mas mapanuri sa pagiging sa pagsusulat nitong style na to, dahil hindi siya kagaya ng iba na putya-putya ka lang nag-style, hindi gano'n. Tapos, a writer needs to decide whether to conform to the established style or to deviate. Also, they need to assess every style to avoid deviation. Yun nga.
And now, Mr. Soberano will discuss the style number 5.
I'm back again reporting. I want to say that I'm more evolved. Style yarn, and yes, you're right. Style often change through time because we've tackled right before in linguistics class how language is dynamic, and this means style is characterized by a constant change. Well, if you are very observant, you will really find how the style of a text change through period, just like the way you observe and judge certain people, Tito. Did you observe their predominant features? It's just easy, right? Especially those texts which we encounter right now. We easily understand them compared to the Old English, which will make our nose to bleed. Anyways, both of them are concerned by the time relevance of style. If you are still confused, I can give some example. So first, let's go to the moderate one, which the language we're using. The dog is always barking when he saw a stranger. This sentence is easy to digest, right? Because this style is what we speak right now, and we should understand it. Let's go on to the other one, which is the iconic opening line of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which was written in Georgian era, probably in the year 1797. It is truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be want of a wife. Can you still understand it? For sure you will say somehow. Well, it's just natural since this writing already have an exquisite future. How about the next one, which is already complicated style of writing by Shakespeare? Let's read it. How art thou out of breath when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? Did you understand it, Tito? It's hard to digest, right? But he's just implying to say that why you're saying that you can't breathe when you're able to do it. Well, anyways, through observation to this text, you will really see how the style of Old English is more intricate and complicated one which some of us can't relate to understand compared to the language we're using right now. But take note, maybe the language we speak today may not quite understand what we speak by the people in future. Well, it's because of time and its dynamic. Indeed, we prove that there is really a style in different period. And are not you aware that there has been a study? First is the diachronic linguistics. It's look like you're studying a timeline that continuously moving. For example, you're studying about the Anglo-Saxon through this contemporary period. That's what diachronic linguistic is, which is very different to synchronic linguistics that you're just studying a exact period. For example, you're just studying about Victorian era where Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte was written, and you're also studying about the Pride and Prejudice of Jane Austen where it was written in Georgian era. Did you already get it? And that's what I can spill for now, Tito. Maybe next time, I will say more about it because we still have issue right now, duh.
And now, they're about to discuss the... I'm here to defend myself. Sumusobra na kasi sila eh. Ay, bawal pala umalis. Live pala to. Hehe, sorry. Tapo na. Assistant, could you please my tablet? Thank you. Anyways, the sixth approach is style as situation. You know what, Abunjing? Language is used commonly according to situation or circumstances. It is the context that determines language choice in a speaking or writing. Some words can be used in certain occasions, while the rest are, considered as taboo, informal, or vulgar. So let's take an example from a situation. So in every situation are viewed as style of their own. Am I right? Each setting or environment or even the context creates unique environment or characteristics to the text. That is the reason why formal writing is more strict than the casual writing. To sum up all of this, each literary text and even the authors has their own style. Kaya sa mga kaaway ko dyan, huwag niyo akong sinisiraan kasi ang mga ibinababa ay itinataas. At ang mga ibinababa, katulad ng midterms ko last sem, ay itinataas. That's it. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Abellana, I think I got your point. Any more to say? Yes, please. I just want to thank all of my sponsors. The bag, please. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to thank all of my sponsors. Gaya Gaya ko soap. Here. Nyetadine. Trust Condom. Minions. And Crispy Cry. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, Mr. Ralph Lar Soberano.
It's been my pleasure, Tito Boy.
Mrs. Emerald Anderson.
You're welcome, Tito Boy, and that's it. Thank you also, Tito Boy.
And Mr. Alan Abellana. That was an informative episode for today.